How do you know when you're in love? When you find someone that makes you think, yeah, I could let this person freaking destroy me in every way and still be okay with it. The moment I knew I was in love with my husband, well, some backstory first. I am in the military. We were only dating at the time. I went home on rap after my tech training. I walked into his room one day and a book on his desk caught my eye. I'm an avid reader, so naturally, I picked it up and the title read I never told anyone. It's a book of writings by survivors of childhood physical shaming and abuse. My heart felt like it exploded and I got really teary-eyed when he walked in and saw me holding it. All he said was, "I just wanted to be able to understand what you went through, the trauma, without reopening that wound." It was a decision I made then and continue to make each and every day. I've always loved this quote from Neil Gaiman and the Kindly Ones. Have you ever been in love? Horrible, isn't it? It makes you so vulnerable. It opens your chest and it opens up your heart, and it means that someone can get inside you and mess you up. You build up all these defenses. You build up this whole armor for years, so nothing can hurt you. Then one stupid person, no different from any other stupid person, wanders into your stupid life. You give them a piece of you. They don't ask for it. They do something dumb one day like kiss you or smile at you, and then your life isn't your own anymore. Love takes hostages. It gets inside you. It eats you out and leaves you crying in the darkness. So a simple phrase like "maybe we should just be friends" or "how very perceptive" turns into a glass splinter working its way into your heart. It hurts. Not just in the imagination. Not just in the mind. It's a soul hurt. A body hurt. A real gets inside you and rips you apart pain. Nothing should be able to do that. Especially not love. I hate love. I was the other man for a while. A girl I worked with was flirting pretty heavily with me and we went out. Things were going pretty well until she told me she had a boyfriend. I didn't wanna be that guy, so I said we couldn't see each other. She goes on to explain how they are gonna break up and he's not good to her and all this. Temptation gave in and we kept dating for a while until one day she tells me about how she had a bad night. Apparently she has this condition where it is really hard for her to poop and it causes her a lot of pain. The boyfriend helped her by pushing on her stomach while she pooped and it made her feel better somehow. I was like, whoa, that boy loves you. I wouldn't do that crap. I mean, like, I'd ask from the other side of the door if you needed anything from the pharmacy, but I'd never push on your stomach while you pooped. All of a sudden it got real to me that he loved her and I wasn't but for being the other man. TLDR. You know you are in love when you will help them poop. We were all around 18 at the time and have all aged and matured since. I was under the impression they had already broken up but hadn't made it official. That doesn't condone my actions but explains them a bit. The furthest it got was kissing. I ended up reaching out to the guy who I assumed would beat me up, but he didn't. He later said this whole thing was a wake-up call that he could very well lose her and needed to treat her better. They ended up breaking up for a time and getting back together both and gave the relationship a better try from both sides. They are now married with kids and we are still in touch and laugh about it a bit. And finally, I don't believe this makes me a crappy person. I think that people who are 18 years old are immature and that person does not reflect who I am now. A 35-year-old married to a guy BTW, man that has never cheated. Crap, that is love. My boyfriend cleaned up my puke from the carpet, unclothed me, bathed me, put on my pajamas, and tucked me into bed one night when I was crap-faced. I apparently kept asking him why we weren't married yet and he said that it didn't scare him. That was 2 years into the relationship. It's been 6 now and we would clean up each other's puke any day. I thought I was in love a lot. Growing up, I'd feel in love with people after talking to them for a day. I fell in love with everybody. I loved every girl I met and half the boys. But as I got older and got hurt and hurt people, I realized that love isn't that tingly feeling, or acting like an idiot, or wanting to be around someone all the time. Love is a quiet trust. It is affection built out of familiarity. Love is really knowing someone and wanting a life that has them in it. Not because of what they can do, but because of what they are. This sounds like my relationship with my cousin. We've known each other since birth and she's the one who's had my back since. A girl at work asked a bunch of us guys a question like this once. I think the exact question was, when did you know you were going to marry your wife? My answer was, When I realized that my wife is the first woman I've dated that I actually missed when I wasn't with them. That was when I knew I wanted to be with her forever. And then, after about a year of that feeling not changing or going away, I asked her to marry me. Another guy I work with said he saw his wife destroy the fattest loaded burger, down her Texas cheese fries, and then gulp down her beer before ordering another. That was his clue. I guess love comes to each of us differently. He saw his wife destroy the fattest loaded burger, down her Texas cheese fries, and then gulp down her beer before ordering another. Hot. For me it was a quiet inner peace, a feeling that life would be life with her and something far more insignificant without. Just my 2 cents after 9 years. I asked my dad this when I was dating my first girlfriend. She turned out to be a bee who jerked me around for months on end, but the advice stayed relevant. You know you are in love when you can no longer imagine living your life without this person, and the idea of spending the rest of tea with them is inviting, not terrifying. When you start treating the other person like your second self, their needs and wants are just as, if not more, important than your own. I know I'm starting to fall in love when it's not just about the person being attractive or making me happy or anything like that, but rather I couldn't stand the thought to see her afraid or in pain. Like her pain becomes mine, if that makes sense. When all the new wears off, you don't have butterflies every time they call or text or you know you're going to see them. You're not getting all giddy about firsts in your relationship. You're no longer both on your best behavior. You can see their faults and let them see yours. You've survived a few disagreements. You're not boning every time you catch some alone time. The fricking isn't mind blowing every single time. And after all that, they're still your favorite person. They still think the sun shines out your butt. You still do things for each other, for the simple joy of making them happy. The absence of the rose-colored glasses of new lust hasn't been replaced with resentment. It has evolved into comfort, stability, and security with that person. I dunno, but I'll tell you about when I took my girlfriend out to eat for her birthday. It was a fondue place and I felt super out of my element. She loved every second of it. I hated the food. She loved it. I hated the drinks. She loved it. I hated the atmosphere. She loved it. But I loved every second of the evening because she did. I got such great joy from her experiencing her time that I had a great time too. I truly love this woman, and me being happy because she was happy showed me. I didn't even realize it was possible to hate fondue. If you think you are, you are. I believe there are different kinds of love and love goes through different stages. That first stage, where you can't stop thinking about the person and it takes away your appetite and makes you feel tingly and a little aroused when that memory of that one passionate kiss you shared recently, and the world looks beautiful simply because that person is in it, and you feel like you could survive on the streets with nothing as 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 street. For me, I couldn't get to the next stages of love without going through that stage. After that stage is when love turns from something beautiful and simple to something you have to work at, something you have to compromise for. But that work brings you so much pleasure because you know you're working on building something together. A lot of people don't think that first infatuation stage is really love. I don't know why. I look back on the people I was infatuated with and I can still recognize that I was in love. There's some kind of stigma over falling in love too quickly or being flippant with the word because it loses meaning or something. But I disagree. Love is the one thing that you can never run out of. It's a natural, never-ending resource. Like, when you have a child, your ability to love grows beyond what you thought possible, like that end scene in The Grinch. And when you have a second child you worry that you don't have enough room to love the second child as much as the first. But then your heart grows again and you're overflowing with love. And then you realize that the love you have for your children is different than the love you have for your partner. And that's different than the love you have for your parents. And it's different than the love you have for avocados or cookies and cream ice cream. Love is the one resource the world can never run out of, but it's the one resource that we're the most stingy with. Go ahead and be in love. Last point, I don't think everyone is capable of love. It's like a muscle that atrophies if you don't exercise it. So go ahead and fall in love. I was kinda scared because I think my girlfriend wants to say she loves me, and I'm pretty sure I'm in love with her but didn't want to rush to telling her. After reading this, I'm not scared. I know I love this girl. Thanks. When a person can make your day by simply existing. How, when you're with them, time seems to stop. When you realize no one has ever made you feel happier, safer, or more complete. Funny, that's how I feel around my really good friends. When you do gross crap in front of them and they do gross crap in front of you and you don't even recall that much, because it's them, and you're like, okay you but whatever. Love, you just kind of know, you're yourself. You don't use one of those fakey boyfriend girlfriend voices. When you're completely vulnerable, yet comfortable. I've been married 10 years this coming December. I know how I show love and how my wife shows me love. Forgiveness, respect, compromise. Love is holding her hair when she pukes, not going to bed angry, talking and working through troubles and arguments no matter how difficult the topic. That is key to waking up happy, not storming off in the middle of an argument, accepting you're wrong, undying respect, no matter what. You may be super mad at the other person for something entirely their fault. Never lose respect, forgiveness, compromise, doing things the other person enjoys because they enjoy it, and doing it with a smile on your face, taking risks together, accepting there are just some things the other person won't do. Compromise, forgiveness, respect. Love is not chemical imbalances or physiological changes in your body. Love is the feeling and joy you get when doing things for the other person. Would you ever give the person up, let the person down, run around and desert the person, make the person cry, say goodbye to the person, tell a lie and hurt the person? If not, then you're probably no stranger to love. Give the person up. Alright guys, we're about to get rickrolled. Proceeds to read the whole thing. When after a few minutes you were thinking about something else, you suddenly remember about your so and you get that feeling of a bottle of champagne popping in your chest and throat. So I am in love with video games. This probably sounds trite, but love is work. How hard you're willing or want to work on a relationship at its worst is a good indication of if you're in love versus just infatuated with someone. Infatuation dies when things get hard, but love will want to keep working to persevere. Oh man, this does sound trite, but it's true. Stick with me here. Despite sounding like a self-help book, being in love is being selfless, patient, and basically looking at the worst of someone along with the best and going, yep, that's for me. Infatuation feels a lot like love, especially with how media plays it out. Idealization and thinking someone is perfect isn't love. If you have someone who you can be 100% yourself around, and they have the freedom to do the same, you're getting closer. If you find your happiness in wanting to make the other person happy, it's a fairly good indication you really are in love. It's really mostly about wanting to put the other person first. Huge word of warning, though. I feel like society, especially for young females, is more in love with the idea of love versus the reality of it. Being in love is about being selfless. However, it is not at the cost of giving up all that you are. The key to a loving relationship is that the person you're with is also willing to work just as hard as you. They will respect your boundaries, try to meet your needs, and have respect for who you are as well. The relationship needs to be balanced with both of you trying to give your best to the other person. Otherwise the potential for manipulation can be pretty high. I'm new to posting to Reddit, but I do hope you find this helpful and see it. I've been married to my best friend for almost 6 years and we've been together for 8. And this advice was the best we were ever given as a couple. Good luck to you. As someone who loves to eat, this quote I heard from a food podcast sums it up. Marry the one who gives you the same feeling you get when food arrives at a restaurant. Every time I see her I say in a bitchy tone, about freaking time. When you look them in the eyes and think, this is someone I could really see our kids spending every other weekend with. I was in a class in college called Human Sexuality. At one point we were talking about love versus lust versus obsession. The professor asks what the real difference between love and lust is. A bunch of different people have opinions, and we have a pretty good discussion for about 15-20 minutes. It's starting to die down a bit, but before the professor can move on, this one kid in the back, who had not participated so far in the class, just says, "You sleep in the wet spot." The professor asks him for more details. After freaking, "If you're in love you sleep in the wet spot," the class pretty much unanimously agreed his was the best answer. She was my first thought in the morning and my last at night. She filled my dreams and motivated my actions. It was terrifying and exhilarating. I was not in control of my life because I'd do anything for her, but I didn't care because I got to spend it with her. I realized that all one morning as I woke and she was again the only thought in my mind. It had probably been that way for a while before I realized, but I cannot tell you how long because I was lost in her. Please tell me that you are still together. It's all written in the past tense. Trouble walking, speaking and understandings, also paralysis or numbness of the face, arms and legs. Oh crap, no, that's signs of a stroke. I always get them mixed up. Love is something you decide to do. It is not a feeling. It is deciding to love even when you don't feel like it. If it's based on a feeling, you're sunk. You don't fall into love like falling into a hole. It's more like climbing, not falling. Every time my wife asks why I would love somebody like her, I tell her because I decided to. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil but rejoices with the truth. It always protects. Always trusts. Always hopes. Always perseveres. Love never fails. Not being religious myself, I will always appreciate that verse. It has helped my way of thinking so much. Morty, I hate to break it to you, but what people call love is just a chemical reaction that compels animals to breed. It hits hard, Morty, then it slowly fades, leaving you stranded in a failing marriage. I did it. Your parents are gonna do it. Break the cycle. Morty, rise above. Focus on science. Man, I found real love for the first time in my life last year. I'll try to explain it. I knew instantly that there was something special between us. Literally the first time we went out, it was like we had been together for 10 years. All I wanted to do was be around this person. It didn't matter what else I was doing. I simply couldn't get enough. You feel like if you could just stay with them forever, that life would be pretty great. I'm a pretty argumentative person, but in love I don't fight, because I don't care if I win. I just want things to be exactly how they are. So I don't yell and I don't get angry. I might get hurt, but never angry. It was very obvious I was in love because the honeymoon phase of the relationship never wore off. A year later and it's just as amazing, if not more so, than when we first started. I have no doubt that his will stay that way forever. She's just my other half. I don't want to ever date again. This is the one and I couldn't be happier. She might not be perfect, but she's perfect for me. When you'll do anything to compromise, you get happy at their existence. You'll drop everything just to cuddle with them. Being in love is breathlessness. It is excitement. It is the promulgation of promises of eternal passion. But that is not love. That is just being in love, which any fool can do. Love itself is what is left over when being in love has burned away. And this is both an art and a fortunate accident. Those that truly love have roots that grow towards each other underground, and when all the pretty blossoms have fallen from their branches, they find that they are one tree and not two. Love is a temporary madness. It erupts like volcanoes and then subsides. And when it subsides, you have to make a decision. You have to work out whether your roots have so entwined together that it is inconceivable that you should ever part. Because that is what love is. When you prioritize the needs of the other person over yours. When you do things they like, but you don't because it matters to them. When you help each other with the chores. Love goes beyond attraction or freaking. The thought of being together with her precludes everything. Even the thought of freaking her is precluded by the thought of kissing her and holding her in my arms. For me, I'd say no one else could top her in every way. I dated about 15 to 20 different girls over the course of 15 years or so, and all of them either cheated on me or left me for stupid reasons. Also, when you really need someone when times are tough, even if it's stupid or your own fault, most people naturally turn to family. My family was crap. So the next best thing is you're so, and when they make fun of you or make excuses, then frick them. All of my exes were like this. After so long with each one I learned they didn't truly give a crap about me or my problems I had. I was just a fling for them. My wife though, that woman has always had my back, through thick and thin. Even if the outcome was 110% guaranteed unfavorable, even if it meant she got dragged down too. I've learned so much about true love, from being married. I knew I was truly in love with her after about 3 years of being together, when I started comparing her to everyone else I had ever encountered in my life. Friends, family, exes, and on every occasion she topped them all by miles and miles. At some point it dawned on me that she was the one. She was everything I had always yearned deeply for. The emotional connection was there, the mental and physical connection, etc. Hard to explain I think until you are in a marriage that actually works positively, but for me at some point I knew that she was perfection in my eyes, and she meshes with me perfectly, and on top of that, hearing her basically say the same words to me, I mean it's pretty obvious at that point. I've had a lot of people in my life try to test us, you know. Talking crap usually, trying to start stuff. I am proud to say that on the surface if you don't know us, we may not look like anyone special, but rest be assured we are a vicious couple that will defend each other aggressively. And we wake up every day ready to face the world and all its chaos together. Hard to explain, but I know other people can relate to this. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.